What's up, guys, and welcome to the third installment of this exciting series where we are basically going over the cards that are left behind. Today is April 14th, so basically TCG rotation happened and the cards that we are going through are already out of rotation, so they can't be played anymore in tournaments around the world because they are not part of the standard set of cards that you can use when building up your deck. As you saw in the previous two episodes, we covered colorless and psychic Pokemon, and in the last one we covered grass ones. This will be a fun one because I know fire type Pokemon are some of the most popular in the world, especially with all the Charizard variations. And yeah, not much to be said, but let's get right into it. Only 58 cards. I was surprised by that. So only 58 cards with regulation mark F are going away in terms of fire Pokemon, but some of those are really awesome and were played quite heavily in the previous months and a previous year. So yeah, out of those 58 cards, we will go over 23. So that's like almost half. So it's quite a few. But yeah, let's just start. As you can see, what we are starting at. So where we are starting at. So basically, Charizard V Star, first two cards. This Charizard V. Not that much in terms of its effectiveness and usefulness, but definitely Charizard V Star. This card is a huge addition that we are missing. Basically, we are getting rid of, or we got rid of all V and V Star Pokemon. So basically, quite a lot has happened in terms of regulation and in terms of playing particular decks. And if you are playing online especially, you could see that small exclamation mark next to most of your decks, and then you had to redo it, remove some cards, get different kind of cards in the deck, and yeah, basically run from that. So Charizard V Star, without further ado, Explosive Fire 130 plus. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 100 more damage. It is a tanky Pokemon, 280 HP, so basically even damage counter of 10 is enough for you to do 230 damage with it. Star Blaze V-Star Power, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. It needs at least 4. Of course, you can't use more than 1 V-Star Power in a game, and it does 320 with its Star Blaze attack. So that's the first one. It's a Pokemon card from a Crown Zenith series. Radiant Charizard. This was used quite a lot, and I encountered this card frequently in terms of my opponent's gameplay. Radiant Charizard, Excited Heart. This is its ability that's that was quite useful. This Pokemon's attacks cost 1 energy less for each prize card your opponent has taken. So basically Combustion Blast for 250. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Combustion Blast. Basically it's a one-hit Pokemon. It has only 160 HP, so it's not that bulky, but then again, in late game scenarios, when you can, for instance, your opponent has taken 4 or 5 prize cards, then you can use Combustion Blast for 1 energy effectively. Okay, you can use it once, and then in the next turn you had to switch out this Pokemon. But 250 in late game scenarios with only 1 energy, that was quite a lot. Simisear V-Star, also V, not that much, but V-Star was a great fire Pokemon. Fireball Fever 40 plus. You may discard up to 5 cards from the top of your deck. This attack does 40 more damage for each card you discard in this way. So it's not energy, it's not Pokemon, it's not item cards. Basically, each card that you decide to discard, it does 40 more damage. So you can effectively hit your opponent for 3 energies for 240 damage. Ember Star V-Power, this attack does 30 damage for each energy card in a discard pile. Again, 30x. So 10 energies, 300 damage for only 1 fire energy. Okay. Volcarona, just to show the effectiveness and sheer power of fire Pokemon. Volcarona is a stage 1 Pokemon, of course, evolves from Larvesta. It doesn't have much HP, only 130, but it does have Volcanic Hit, an attack that can hit for 120 for only 2 energies. It can be used in 2 turns in a row, but again, 120 for 2 energies, and then okay, you lose Volcarona, you switch it out. It's quite hefty move to make. Entei V, look at the art on this one. I have to show this Magmortar. Okay, it's not the card that I want to display in terms of its effectiveness, but awesome art as well. And on this Entei V, fleet-footed. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may draw a card. Again, anything that leads to card draw. Again, I could use this card for my Tinkaton draw deck only because of this ability. Of course, it has to be in the active spot for it to work, but nevertheless. Burning Rondo 20 plus, this attack does 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon. 2 energies, up to maximum, of course, of 220 damage with full bench of your opponents and yours. Entei V, and that's it for Crown Zenith. Now we are going to Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest had also lots of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Pokemon to go through. Again, Pokemon that are not that bulky in terms of its HP, but had different abilities or different attacks that really could hurt your opponent. As you can see from this Ninetales, 110 HP, Hypnotic Gaze, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep, and then again Scorching Breath, as almost same attack as Volcarona had, 120, and during your next turn this Pokemon can attack. But then again, 2 energies for 120 hit, that's quite a good amount. Rapidash had great ability, and it wasn't used that often. But again, cards like this, I want to highlight them because in the sense that you are losing a special kind of Pokemon with a special kind of ability, and if you run, for instance, Fire deck, then you can see what you are losing, and for instance, what can you potentially replace that card with if you want to edit, of course, your deck for it to be standard and legal, let's say. Once during your turn, you may discard a Fire Energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. During this turn, your Fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Again, you might never know. That 30 damage could come in quite handy if, for instance, your Rapidash is on the bench, and that could be the difference that could win you the game. If, for instance, you can hit, let's say, 300 and you are up against Dark Charizard DX, and of course, with Rapidash's ability you can hit 330 and KO it. That's Rapidash. Reshiram V, also an amazing art. Sparkling Wings, search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. You put down Reshiram V, you use Sparkling Wing, and in the next turn you can use White Blaze for 200 damage. Flip a coin. If tails, during your next turn this Pokemon can't attack. It's 50-50, so you might attack, but you might not. But again, you fill it up with Sparkling Wing. Same thing as Growlithe attack. For instance, you get for 1 energy that attack that adds 2 energies to Growlithe, and then in the next turn you could use that 70 damage attack, or even if you evolve it to Arcanine, that 250 damage attack. Delphox, where you are at? Okay, oh, here. Again, similar thing as with Rapidash, 150 HP Pokemon. Flare Parade, this attack does 6 damage for each Serena card in your discard pile. That's okay. If you are combining these cards, then of course you are getting some Serena cards in your deck. But this one, Energy Crush, also only 2 energies in terms of energy cost, 50x. This attack does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So okay, it could be 50, but it could be for 6 energies 300. For instance, Delphox. Then we have Talonflame. Talonflame, Quick Dive, 50 to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and then Merciless Strike. Look at this, for only 1 fire energy. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this attack does 80 more damage. So for instance, you can hit it first time for 80, and then in the next turn for 160, for only 1 fire energy. Talonflame. I also got Litten written. Reprisal. This attack does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, 20x. That's the same thing as Drifloon. If you run a Psychic Pokemon, then you know Drifloon basically does also, I think, 20 or even 30 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So, for instance, if your Litten is down to 10 HP, it has 6 damage counters, and then this little thing, this little Fire Cap Pokemon does 20 damage for each, so 120 damage. That's why I wanted to highlight that card. The same thing applies to its evolutions. So Torracat, Gritty, sorry about that. Sorry about that, my main phone. Torracat, Gritty Claws and Combustion. Gritty Claws, during your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon has full HP and will be knocked out by damage from an attack, it is not knocked out and its remaining HP becomes 10. Awesome. It's not an ability, it's an attack, but awesome thing, the same thing that Pikachu, that special Pikachu does. And Combustion for 70 for 3 energy, but this Gritty Claws is it's quite good because then you save your Torracat for one turn, and in the next turn, for instance, you can evolve it to Incineroar. Incineroar, secret attack. Look at this one. Choose an attack from one of this Pokemon's previous evolutions and use it as this attack. Again, you can also use Gritty Claws and prolong your Incineroar for at least one more turn. Flare Shot, discard all energy from this Pokemon. Okay, only 2, let's say, but 180 damage also can come in quite handy. Talonflame, yeah, that's it for this one. Then we are going to Delphox V. That's the one card that I have written from Lost Origin set. Eerie Glow. Your opponent's active Pokemon is down, burned, and confused. So two special conditions at once. Magical Fire. Put 2 energy attached to his Pokemon in the lost zone. This attack also does 120 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Okay, basically Magical Fire for 3 energies, you lose 2, but you can hit 2 of your opponent's Pokemon for 120 damage. We are going to Family Life from Pokemon Go because of this Charizard, of course, but again, Charmander and Charmeleon were also used quite heavily. Talonflame, search your deck for a Fire Energy card attached to this Pokemon and shuffle your deck. This Charmander from Pokemon Go. Then you have seen a lot of this Charmeleon as well, Scratch and Flamethrower combination. And then of course Charizard, Burn Brightly ability. Each basic fire energy attached to your Pokemon provides double energy. You can't apply more than one Burn Brightly ability at a time, of course. So two Charizard from Pokemon Go doesn't equate to 4 energies for one attached, but again, Burn Brightly ability, something that was used quite a lot in the game, and then Flare Blitz, 170, discard all fire energy from this Pokemon, but again, you can use that attack in relation to Burn Brightly ability for 2 energies, and you don't need 4. We are getting to Astral Radiance deck set, again with Rapidash. Combustion for 30, but look at this, Ring of Fire, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. During your opponent's next turn, the Pokemon can't retreat. So 50 plus burn plus can't retreat. A nice combination of attacks and conditions and restrictions, let's say, and of course your opponent can switch out that Pokemon, but can't be retreated. That's Rapidash Heatran VMAX. Look at this one, 330 HP. Magma Gain ability. Once during your turn, if you have a stadium in play, you may heal 50 damage from this Pokemon. That's a great ability to have. Max Hit Burst. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Plus hit for 180 damage for 3 energies. That's the first page. We have only 4 Pokemon to go. We have Radiant Heatran, Raging Blast. This attack does 70 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So this attack, am I reading this right? This attack does 70 for each damage counter. So basically 2 damage counters on Radiant Heatran is 140 damage, 3 is 210, up to maximum of, let's say Radiant Heatran has only 10 HP remaining, that's 15 times 70, that's 700, 1050 damage. It can hit for 1050 damage. Wow. I see it in my short list, but yeah, I couldn't remember that this is, oh my, this is bigger than Tinkaton. Heatran, Moltres, yeah, I use this one as well for my fire deck, that Charizard Arcanine combo deck that you could saw in previous episodes before I switched entirely, or let's say exclusively, to my Psychic deck. Inferno Wings, if this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 70 more damage. This attack's damage is affected by weakness. So again, 120 HP Moltres can attack for 90 damage for only 1 fire energy, if, as the attack says, has any damage counters on it. Infernape and Infernape V, these are the final 2 cards. So Infernape, Infernal Vortex, 80x, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. This attack does 80 damage for each energy card you find there. Then discard those energy cards and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So from 80, if you are extremely lucky and draw 5 energies, all the way to 400 damage. Of course, you have to discard those energies, so that's like that's a negative of that situation and that attack. But again, who would say no to 400 damage attack? Burning Kick, 160, discard all energy from this Pokemon, 2 energies. So, okay, you hit for 160, discard 2 energies in the next turn if your Infernape lives on, 1 energy, and then use Infernal Vortex. So basically you have 2 incredible attacks in 2 turns in a row from this Infernape. Infernape V, to end things off, Meteor Punch, 30x, flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. Yeah, basically you can hit for 0, you can hit for 300 if you are extremely lucky and get 10 heads in a row. No pun intended. Bright Flame, 200 damage, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon for 3 energies. That's about it. As I said, the standard rotation has already happened. You can check the previous video, so on grass Pokemon, the link will be up here somewhere. Of course, share, subscribe, like, and comment. I always respond to comments. I will try to make, let's say, combo episodes, so the same thing as with the first one, where I went over colorless and psychic Pokemon. But again, I didn't want to do it with fire Pokemon because they are like extremely fan favorited, and yeah, lots of them are here. So 58 cards, not that much, but then we went over 23 of them, so that's quite a few. Yeah, that's it for now. As always, enjoy the rest of the day, and until next time and until next episodes, bye.